I'm Jooya from Jooya Teaching Resources, and welcome to tonight's little session. This is the first one for 2022 if you're watching the replay, and yeah, it's January 11 for me, and on a Tuesday evening, and I'm back in the seat, so to speak. You can see here that I'm somewhere different. I'm not at home. I am on holidays, but life goes on, and we've got to keep doing these things. And one of the nice things about being here and where I am is that I can still keep doing what I love to do, which is one of these things as well. So tonight we're talking about tonality, and that was what my topic was going to be for the term. Sorry, not for the term. Haven't started school yet. For this month. That may change. I've had a lot of questions recently from people requesting all sorts of things, and I might talk about that at the end, about what I'm going to probably do next week and the week after. And as I said, change up, we make plans. They, like all things in a classroom, we have to pivot. Famous words of the last couple of years, isn't it? Pivot. Alrighty. So I said, I'll get started. I will share my screen, and actually I'll share my screen and I'll go from there. Okay, so we've got a few things. I've got a few things down there that I'm ready to show you as well. So I'll go share, and let's go slideshow. Come on, slideshow from beginning. I don't want to know that it's new. Should be awkward there, making sure that it's coming through. Beautiful, it has. All right, so as I said, teaching ideas for teaching tonality. And look, honestly, these ideas can be used for any element of music or concept of music that you are actually doing, okay? So welcome to the video tonight. I'll give a brief explanation about the 8 elements of music. I'll also talk about tonality teaching resources, some that I actually use myself, and I'll give you some ideas on how you might want to use those in the classroom. Now, these ideas may not be suitable if you are in a classroom where you are not face-to-face or you can't share resources, but hopefully that's going to get to the point where we are beyond that and we can get back to something more normal in the classroom. If you're teaching COVID style, I don't know. I'm at a loss myself, because I'm going to have to think about that when we go back to school at the end of January for me. And I think our restrictions are going to be still in place, unfortunately. But that is life. Okay. So the 8 elements of music, as you can see there, are in alphabetical order. We've got dynamics, form or structure, harmony, melody, rhythm or duration, texture, timbre, and again, I call that one tone color, and the last one tonality. And I know I've said it before, but just so in case I do say something like the concepts of music, that's what I teach and use. And for me, concepts of music, by all melody, harmony, and tonality all come under the concept of pitch. The rest are the same, okay? But it's just that one, it all comes under the heading of pitch. So tonality simply means the overall relationship between the melody and the harmony, and how they actually create a unique sound set when combined. Okay, so the overall tonality is the sort of sound that's created with the melody and the harmony combining. You can have a sound of a melody, you can have a sound of a harmony, but when you put the two together, that gives that overall tonality. And look, the thing is, the melody and the harmony and tonality are all intertwined. You can't, they're also interdependent. They really depend on each other to make the sound, okay? And we know that if the harmony isn't quite working with the melody, that the tonality then changes. Whereas if the harmony works with the melody, the tonality again is a different sort of sound, okay? So, slightly excited, and a bit of a warning here. I've had a lot of requests about doing elements of music mind maps. Now, if you are here, you might know that I'm here because, or you are here because you've got my free ones, which you can go and download over and I'll give that information at the end as well. But the free ones are quite basic. And the whole idea about those free ones is that you would use the information in the actual website, which is on juliajooya.com. And you would use those blog posts to actually use it to fill it in. It was meant to be a resource for teachers and students. And I know during lockdown and this remote learning period that we've had for a couple of years, that a lot of people have actually used them that way. But I've had a lot of requests for actual versions of them that are completed as well as colored. So here's, I'll show you some of the colored versions. So in the actual product, which I'll give you a link at the end, I'll talk about at the end, you actually get 7 sets in the bundle, but if you want just the color versions, there's 3. And if you want the printed versions, they're like the black and white, there's 4. But so here's the one colored version, which has all the colors, everything labeled, as well as things in the actual boxes, writing in the boxes. The second version is the same thing you can see here. And then there's a space for students to actually write in. And honestly, if it was me, I'll go back to that page, I would have this one displayed, okay, on the board for the kids to actually watch and use. And then this is the one I would give them, but I'd probably give them just a black and white printed version, and then they could actually fill in boxes themselves. Or I would give them this version, okay, which again gives them enough space around the actual mind map to actually write the information in. Now, the other thing is, like, this is not the only way you could use it, but it's a really good introduction and a way to introduce the topic of tonality is to use the mind maps. And as I said, the kids like them, they like the visual part of it. And especially if you're using the black and white version, you get the kids to color it in. And I know it sounds like, even my senior students, I get them to color stuff in. And they go, oh, Miss, come on, why? I said, because you're going to remember that color, and that color is going to help you connect it to that concept or that idea or that term. And it does work. And that's why, like, you know, everything I do is color coded for that reason, because they remember the colors, okay, and whatever it is. So tonality for me is this lovely color, which is actually my branding color. As you can see, it's a teal. I would have an argument with my daughter. She would say that it's blue, and I say it's green. So it's green. But a couple of resources which are my favorites. Okay, so we've got the obviously the memory cards there, which I don't always use just for memory. I use for lots of different things, and also the tonality worksheets there. And it's interesting, I was using those tonality, like those elements of music worksheets a lot last year when I was in class with my kids, and there was a couple of things that they really liked, and one they actually hated, which is really interesting when you're doing it and you think, oh, we've had a great year, and they go, oh, Miss, I hated that. So okay. And this is what they hated. So I really like, and this is what I still use, and I'll get it here. I'll just actually I'll stop share for a moment so I can show you. All right, so my younger students, they really liked doing the definition matchup ones. They really liked doing those. They found that was actually quite fun. And again, especially my low ability kids who was really struggling, they really liked doing that. And I actually use those worksheets a lot. I've got a life skills student in my year 12, like it'll be year 12 class now, but year 11 last year. And so that I could differentiate for that young student, I gave them a lot of these sort of worksheets. So even though the other students were doing other things, we were still working on the same ideas. And again, they really liked those sort of matchups. It was just something nice and familiar. But I really like these, okay, for writing it in. And as I said, get the kids to color it in, whatever else. But my year 9s, I had to laugh because at the end of the year, like end of last year was a bit crazy. And I said, okay, I've got you guys next year, obviously. I want to know, what would you like to do? What worked well? What would you like more of? What would you like less of? And a couple of things they told me. One, they wanted to play more instruments. I said, look, I know we've had a lot of restrictions this year. I'm sorry, but if we can, that'll certainly happen for you next year. And then they said, we don't want those sheets again. I said, what do you mean, what sheets? And they meant these. They hated them. I thought it was hilarious because I thought it was really lovely, but they hated them. But what I liked about these, okay, is that I use them with these, okay, and you know me, I like to have things laminated and color coordinated, but these are the cards. So these have got the actual term on one side and the definition is on the other, so it's a bit hard to see there, and I meant to actually reverse this, but anyway, that's the definition on the other. Now I use those around the classroom, and I literally just do a couple of sets and I put them all out. They get these sheets, okay, and then they go and find the terms that they need. So if they need, modulation happens to be on top. excuse me, and modulation is there. Alrighty. And then they go, sorry, again, sorry, I'm not sick. Something just caught in my throat. Then they actually go through and write the definition. They find the card and they write the definition in that space. Okay. Oh, that might be why, because I had it upside down. I wonder why it was looked back to front. It's not. Okay. And then they write the definition in the space, and then they just go back and get the other cards for what they needed. Even though they hated it, one of the things I know is that they actually learned the terms. They knew them. They knew that what the topics and the concepts and the elements of music that we actually got to do like this, they actually learnt it. So they may not have liked it, but they actually did learn it, which was really, really handy to do. The other way I like to do this is if I, for example, use the music terms one, which I will, it's back on the other thing. So I'll go back to my screen share. Oh, helps if I do that, you silly woman. Sorry, escape. I was there. I'm here, and go back to share screen. It's like I've forgotten, isn't it? Okay, slideshow from card slide. Okay, so I just talked about having those sheets and the term cards. Now, the other thing I like about it is I would just put some music on and nice and chill and let them go. And sometimes, depending on how much we actually had to do, this might take 1 to 2 lessons to actually get it completed. But the other way I like to do it is with the actual terms displayed, which is if I go back to this, sorry, I have those, there's a whole set of those, which I'll show you at the end, but there's a whole set of those ones, and all the tonality, what do you call it, definitions are all on there for the students to actually write down. So it's exactly the same as what's on these cards. It's exactly the same. However, it's just a different format. They actually liked that better. They liked being able to do that all together. What I found frustrating, though, is when you put this up on the board for them to actually do, and is that there's some kids obviously who work fast and some kids who work slow. So I found that it was hard to keep the lesson moving at a good pace, and that's why I like using the cards. That's why I love using these, because it means that kids can work at their own pace. Once they finish, I would just let them play on the instruments, and they love doing it that way. So let me just go quickly to where we're up to. Okay, so we just talked about those two things there, and obviously the cards. Now, what you can see there, the blue cards are different to these ones. So on these, okay, I've got the definition one side and, the term one side and definition the other. On this set, which is the blue set, you can see there, exactly the same cards. You'll see that they're actually separate. Oh, you can't because I was pulling. So there's the card and there's nothing on the back. Okay, these are more for memory or for matching games or all that sort of stuff. So these you would use after you've done the other part. You have to do the other bits first. You have to give them a chance to actually know it, unless you were doing some pre-assessment, which would be another way to actually throw these at them. Not literally, but go, okay, here we go, guys. Have a go, see what you can match up. Let's see who's correct. And that's a really good pre-assessment to see if the kids are actually doing or know their terms. You'll see who knows what. But as I said, that's more for games. Those ones I use myself. Okay, so let me just pop that over there. And the other way is this. Now, I have to say I did something stupid today. I really like laminating, I know that, but again, the mind maps, but I like putting and using ring thingies on there. I don't know if you can see that, see the ring thingy, but I don't have a hole punch where I am, so I thought I'll just go and quickly grab one. I grabbed one that's the wrong size. The little holes that they were punching in this was so tiny, I couldn't actually go. I'm going to have to get another one so I can put this set together. But here's the mind maps again, okay, which is what you've got exactly on that screen there. Okay, here they are printed, and it's green. It's a bit hard. It's been washed out on that there. This is just the black and white version. Okay, and again, it's got the definitions, but there's other versions as well. But the thing I like about this is there's so many ways we can actually use this in the classroom. Okay, so you can see here what the idea is that you'd give them the mind map and you'd give them all the term cards and go, okay, where do they fit in? what topic, what part of tonality do these come under? So consonant and dissonant, you can see it's sort of actually cut off a little bit there. They come under overall sound. And then the scales, put them all together. Okay, and what's an accidental, and what defines an accidental, you know, semitones, tones, and an accidental. And then what's tonality in music. So again, using these cards to actually put out. Alrighty. The other way you could do this is, again, talking about tonality, put on a piece of music, okay, and give them the cards and go, okay, well, what can you hear? And if they can hear something it's consonant, we'll put that out. If they think it's a minor key or a pentatonic, whatever it happens to be, get them to actually use the cards that way with the actual mind maps. And you'll find, again, it's just another good point of discussion. I would actually even think about doing a gallery walk if you can, and get the if you're working in groups, get the kids to go have a look at other groups and see what they come up with, and then maybe put the song on again and come back and have a change, and if they need to change it, and discuss it. Again, another way to check for understanding. And again, the other way, as I said, like I've already shown you here, the actual those worksheets and with the cards. And I said my kids, like, they really like this. They know that they're going to get something right because they can find the card, then they can actually match the definition. Alrighty. Again, my junior students really like this, and my students who are like life skills or maybe their literacy levels aren't quite as up to grade level as where they should be. These sorts of activities are really good, and that's one of the things I like about the actual these worksheets, is because there's so many different ways to do it. The one that my kids really like, the year 7s especially, is the actual the code breaker ones. They love that. However, they don't necessarily check for spelling. I go, do you really think that that's what that says? But you know, it's interesting watching that. Again, and same deal, I talked about this as well, that you could actually talk about, have the sheets and have the cards, and the kids actually complete that as they need to, and as the lesson progresses. It's a nice simple lesson. And then lastly, I said, once you've done all those activities, a fun thing to do is actually memory. So you can see here, I've got the cards all set out, and if you've played memory before, you simply just, you know, in groups, flip over the cards 2 at a time, and if they happen to match, the kid gets the actual definition and the term 2 cards, and it keeps going around. Now, depending on how you want to play it, if they get a matching set, they maybe get another go. Some people choose not to play it that way, but basically the idea is to get all the terms and the definitions matched up, and whoever's got the most at the end wins. So I said it was going to be a short one tonight. I'll talk about a couple of things in a moment. But look, if you'd like to know more about how to write about music, and I said that's my main thing. You know, the kids can't write about music unless they need to know the terms, the terminology to be able to write about music. That's the main thing. You can have a look at my course there over at jooya.teachable.com. And you can find these classroom resources that I've talked about in the description on Facebook, and it'll also be in the description on YouTube when I get it over there. And obviously you can find it all in my store as well. And if you'd like a free copy of the Elements of Music mind maps, which are not ones I'm about to show you, you can go to jooya.com/free mind maps, all smooshed together, and you can get yourself, fill in your details, and you'll get yourself a free set of the mind maps. So that should be, oh, and don't forget, that should be tonality. If you want to know more about tonality on my blog, go to jooya.com. Okay, so I'm going to stop sharing because that was the end screen. So a couple of new products I've done, and I'll talk about one of them a bit more next week, but just some while I'm sort of getting a few things done. But the main thing is the tonality, sorry, not tonality, I'm talking tonality, the Elements of Music mind maps. And I said there's so many ways, and you know I love them, I use them all the time. But this is one of my, like I said, I really like this one. So maybe if I turn that down there, that might be better. Okay, so all I did was, this is the coloured set. Oh, it's a bit hard to see. So, but this is the coloured set with the definitions, and I printed 4 to a page in colour, and then I've put a whole set together so that you could, you know, this has got the dynamics, more dynamics, harmony, tonality, be at the back, Okay, but it's got all of them there, obviously, okay, that I use. Now, these are really good classroom sets. Now, you could either choose to make a set for each of your students, or you could make a class set so they can use it for all sorts of activities and just say, okay, get the elements of music mind maps out, and we're going to do such and such, okay? Up to you how you want to use them. I said my brain just goes to all sorts of different things. What I'm going to try and do myself, okay, is actually put my question cards on the back. All right. So that, because in my store, as you know, there's the levels, the elements of music listening worksheets, and there's 3 different levels of questions in there. So you could have a set for level 1, a set for level 2, a set for level 3, and in terms of the difficulty of questions, because each question builds on each other. And even though I have comparisons in there, you wouldn't necessarily have to write a comparison. You're just going to, you do that in your book. But this would be a really good reference for the kids, okay, to go, all right, what does that actually mean? Oh, that's right, we're talking about harmony. All right, so what's that mean? Okay, chord patterns, harmonic rate of change, harmonic roll. Okay, they're the things I'm going to be looking for and listening for. Okay, that's the thing. So I said, I'm very excited about those ones, and I really love how they've turned out, especially considering I've got a cheap little printer here, and this is what they did. So nice and colorful. Okay, and it is on just on white paper. And as you saw as well, if you prefer to go bigger, I mean, if you wanted to go bigger, go the full size, and maybe you could put all 3 sets of questions on the back. Okay, I'll think about how I might do that and get it ready for you guys, so that there's question 1, level 1, level 2, level 3 on the back of one of these. And then that way, again, if you're differentiating in the classroom, you could, some students know they're at level 1, some students know they're at level 3, or different grades. You just, a saving on that. But the thing again, different colors, and it's a bit hard to see. Elements of music. So that one's on the red. Okay, more red. Dynamics, harmony, rhythm. You can see, this is just the what the other version I was showing you tonight, which is the colored version. But this is just the plain black and white one, simply printed onto colored paper. Okay, and it's really effective. And again, if you did the class sets all the same, you could say, okay, we're talking about melody today. It's the one in pink. It's a pink page. Go to the pink page. Okay, which is, matches what I've got on my mind maps, because they're pink as well, because that's what I do. Alrighty, and one last thing, as in a new product as well, is I've just put together a new bundle. It's resources that have already been in my store for a while, but Black History Month is coming up next month, and if you're getting ready, go and have a look and check it out. There are 30 musicians and composers in there, and there's they're all my Google slides, and the musician or composer studies. And the other thing is I've included a bonus coloring pages. Now there's 37 in those. It's just that I haven't finished all of the female composers. I've got a lot more to do, and I haven't done them all. Female composers, but they will be added eventually into the bundle anyway. But yeah, go and have a look. If you're looking for something for Black History Month and you might be teaching remotely, that might be something to look at. If you're not teaching remotely, you can do the printable version, or you can still use, obviously, the Google version as well. Okay, and I think that's about it I want to talk about tonight. So